Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to day 4 of official Oath of the Gatewatch spoilers. So every day that we have spoilers, we'll be getting a new video out to you to consolidate them and give you some quick analysis. And then a week from Friday, we'll be doing our full set review for Oath of the Gatewatch. So if you haven't yet subscribed, definitely a good time to subscribe to the channel. Hopefully get you prepared for the pre-release that'll be coming shortly after that. Now, having said that, we have 7 brand new cards from Oath of the Gatewatch to take a look at today, and we also have one Friday night promo card that was just announced. So let's look at that first. Friday night promo card for March will be smashed to smithereens, and here's a look at it with the new art. It looks pretty sharp. Just wanted to make sure you all saw that. It didn't get lost in all the Oath spoilers. And now let's look at those new Oath cards. Starting out with Deceiver of Form, 1 colorless, 6 generic. It's an 8/8 Eldrazi. At the beginning of combat on your turn, reveal the top card of your library. If a creature card is revealed this way, you may have creatures you control other than Deceiver of Form become copies of that card until end of turn. You may put that card on the bottom of your library. So this is very, very interesting to me. It feels like a combo card, and it's kind of screaming out Commander to me. Maybe you can get this thing out a little bit quicker with some accelerated mana. Maybe you can manipulate what's on the top of your deck, and next thing you know, you can put together a pretty powerful turn or some powerful combos depending on what creature you put on the top of your deck. So this is very intriguing to me, maybe even a cube card. Now, I do think it's a little too expensive for Standard, which is a heavy removal format, so I don't see it doing a whole lot there, but this is a fine limited card too. Even if you never use the ability, just getting an 8/8 ground pounder for 7, if you got a little ramp in your deck, that could be enough right there to get you there in some games of limited. So I find this very intriguing. You could even draft a deck that has some small creatures, maybe some Eldrazi Scion tokens and some ramp to get you to this card, and then you can flip another Eldrazi to make all your Scion tokens huge for a turn. It just offers up a lot of interesting possibilities. So there's our first card of the day. That's a big one. Next we have General Tawdry, 1 white, 4 generic, 3/4 legendary human ally. When she enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an ally creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. And you can also pay 1 of each color. Ally creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of colors among those creatures. So this is a mythic rare, and this is another mythic rare we have not seen from the initial leak, so that's pretty cool. And this is intriguing because it's an ally tutor, and that feels like it should be powerful, especially considering you're not only tutoring for the creature, but also for all the triggers putting that creature into play will have. So that makes it a little stronger than, say, pulling a random creature out of the ether. So where's this card going to be played? I could see it played maybe in Commander, although that color identity may be a hiccup for you considering it's all 5 colors for its identity. Aside from that, could this see some Standard play? 5 mana seems a little pricey. However, allies seem pretty pushed so far. It's just going to depend on what the rest of Oath looks like and what other enablers are out there. If there's an ally deck that emerges in Standard, having an allied tutor really can't be a bad thing, could it? So who knows? Keep an eye on this one. As far as limited goes, yeah, you're going to play this in limited. It's going to be card advantage for you. If nothing else, you're going to be able to pull an ally. It lets you get an extra card out of the deal, and hopefully an extra very well-timed trigger. Oath of Jace, 1 blue, 2 generic legendary enchantment. When this enters the battlefield, draw 3 cards and discard 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, scry X, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control. So where's something like this going to shine? I'm thinking Commander. A lot of Commander decks that are heavy in planeswalkers would love to have this, and just now you can start scrying every turn. Maybe. As far as other formats go, I might play this in a limited deck if I'm really kind of searching for a 23rd playable, and maybe if I have 1 Planeswalker in my deck, that might push me over the edge to play it, because it is some decent card selection if nothing else, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. The only issue is I may have some better 3-drops that are more aggressive and may fit my build a little better. As far as Standard goes, I don't know if you're really going to want to play this. I don't really see a Super Friends deck happening in Standard, and even if it was there, I still don't know if you want this taking up your 3-drop. I feel like it might just be a little too slow. Next we have Prophet of Distortion, 1 blue for a 1/2 Eldrazi drone, and this has Devoid, and also pay a colorless and 3 generic, draw a card. I love one drops. I love the fact that you can get a one drop that's a 1/2. It's going to help you deal with some maybe smaller creatures in the early game while you kind of get your engine going. And in the mid game, if you're lucky and you have nothing else to do, you can start drawing cards. It's actually a pretty powerful effect. So in limited, this thing's fantastic. I would draft multiples of these in a blue deck and be more than happy to play these as one drops and then potentially get some card advantage out of them later in the game. Aside from that, is this going to make it into standard? I'd have to say probably not, unless there's a deck that's really desperate to find a one drop. And if that's the case, this is a very good choice if you're in blue. But I think right now, especially with color identity of a lot of standard decks being at least 3 colors, if not more, having a one drop that's blue may be hard to consistently get out in the early game, and thus is probably not going to be played in standard. Next spoiler comes to us from a German language spoiler, so loosely translated, it's Skinning Tendrils, 2 black and a generic. It's a sorcery with Devoid. All creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. If a creature would die this turn, exile it instead. So this one is interesting. First off, let me say, I don't really see this making its way into standard, and here's why. Part of the problem is, of course, currently we have 5 toughness creatures. This isn't really doing a whole lot against a lot of the decks today in standard. However, that will probably change after rotation, but what won't change is Languish will still be in standard, and I think most players are just going to play Languish over this. Now, once Languish rotates out, who knows, but at least for the time being, I don't really see this seeing play in standard. This is a fine sideboard card in limited if you're playing bigger creatures. Maybe you're going for the Ramp Eldrazi plan and you have an opponent that's going allies and tokens, and this is fantastic. This could wipe the board for you and do a lot of good things, but it's probably going to start out in your sideboard more than likely. The next spoiler comes to us from a Chinese traditional card, and it's Embodiment of Fury. 1 red, 3 generic. It's an elemental with trample, 4/3, and land creatures you control have trample. Also has a landfall ability. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may have target land you control become a 3/3 elemental creature with haste until end of turn. It's still a land. I love the stats on this for limited. We've been playing a lot of 2 red, 2 colorless 4/3s that have no other abilities in limited, and they've been pretty good. So I'll be more than happy to play a red and 3 generic to get a 4/3 with trample, even if I never use the other abilities. That's pretty awesome. And then when you look at those other abilities, they're actually quite good. Just the fact that your land creatures now get trample, which if you're playing cards with Awaken is pretty awesome, and you can also kind of landfall these temporary Awaken lands when you put lands in play. That's pretty awesome too. So this is a very aggressive beatdown card, very competitively costed at the 4 mana drop spot. I like this a lot in limited. I don't know if it's going to quite manifest into anything in standard, just because landfall's been kind of disappointing when it comes to standard constructed. However, we don't know what all the cards are in Oath yet, so I will have to kind of reserve judgment until we see the rest of the set. Finally, the last card of the day is Hissing Quagmire, and this is the Golgari creature land, and it comes into play tapped. You can tap it for a black or a green and pay a black, green, and a generic, and it becomes a 2/2 black and green elemental creature with death touch until end of turn. It's still a land. So I like this a lot better than the Boros creature land we've seen recently. I just like the death touch ability. A 2/2 death toucher, and only costs 3 to turn into a creature, is very favorable. It's going to prevent people from being able to just mindlessly attack into you, especially with their big creatures. This is just a threat as long as it's untapped and you have 3 open mana. This is a threat that's going to deter people from attacking you. That's awesome in Commander or multiplayer games, that goes without saying, but I think this is still a very powerful card even outside of that environment. I would be more than happy to play this in my limited decks if I'm in those colors. Is it good enough to see standard? If there's a black-green deck out there, yeah, I could see it running maybe 1 or 2 of these. I wouldn't be completely shocked at all, just because creature lands in the past have definitely seen standard play, and I think this one could be strong enough to be there if the right deck exists. So having said that, those are the cards for today from Oath of the Gatewatch. As always, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow, assuming that we have some more spoilers. I assume we will. But if not, I'll see you next time we have spoilers. Have a great day.
Hey, thanks as always for watching. This video, like all my videos, was made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Even a donation of $1 helps me to keep growing this community and creating better quality videos for all of you. Check out our Patreon page for exclusive giveaways and future goals for the channel. If you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the MTG news, spoilers, set reviews, product openings, or finance videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a good day.